So, what's your story, Matt Murdock?
My name is Matthew Murdock.
Man in the mask.
I'm Daredevil. In front of this God, I'd rather die as the devil than live as Matt Murdock.
This ominous declaration is crucial for understanding not just Matt Murdock, but also Daredevil's hidden identity. If you remove this scene from the show, the entire series loses the magic that made the ending so powerful. If you remove this scene from his character, you don't have Matt Murdock anymore, which even impacts his future in the MCU. Matt Murdock's code is heavily centered around God. But when you take his faith out of the equation, you don't have Daredevil anymore. You just have the devil. And the crazy thing is, this story arc Matt goes through in season 3 is a complicated allegory that most are unaware of, which was foreshadowed by this one line.
You know what I realized? Job was a pussy.
So let's uncover Daredevil's true nature and how his struggles with God impacted the series ending and possibly his return to the MCU. And to do that, let's rewind. For the past 2 seasons, we've watched Matt Murdock grow from this scared little boy who lost his father and his sight to a young man with a relentless pursuit of justice as a lawyer and as a vigilante. We've seen his commitment to his dual identities and his strict moral code, his commitment to his peers and to his profession, and his commitment to his faith.
I'm asking forgiveness.
But there was always an underlying tension between Matt Murdock and Daredevil. His faith prevented Daredevil from ending his enemies, while his heroic antics prevented Matt from living a truly happy life.
Then why did he put the devil in me?
And we never get the answer to that question. We're just told that it's a part of God's plan. We all knew it was a fire waiting to start, and there just needed to be a spark for that to happen.
Electronaturals.
Leading us to season 3. Now yet again, Matt Murdock is a scared, tired man who lost his father and his sight. To him, God betrayed him. How could he be punished after all the good he's done? Matt sacrificed his normal life so he could protect Hell's Kitchen from evil. And what does God do? He drops a building on him and kills the woman he loves. Which makes his reference to the Book of Job all the more interesting.
There was a man from the land of Uz.
Book of Job.
Book of Job.
God's perfect servant, who did not curse God no matter what happened to him.
God rained shit and misery on the life of his most perfect servant, and still, Job would not curse him.
And this is the catalyst that starts Matthew's journey.
Suffered willingly. I too believed I was God's soldier.
But what he fails to recognize while quoting the Book of Job is that God did not do these things to Job. The real story goes like this. One day, God began talking to the devil about Job, a wealthy and righteous follower who was gifted with many blessings. The devil began to question Job's loyalty to God, because if he lost all those things, surely he'd lose his faith. And God, who knew Job, doubted this claim. So as a result, the two made a bet, and God permitted the devil to test Job's faithfulness. Now remember, Matt said it was God who put Job through this misery, but in fact it was the devil who tormented Job by killing his family, taking his possessions, and ruining his health. But Matt also left out the very end of the story, which we'll get to in a bit. This huge misinterpretation of Job's story is the journey we see Matt go through in the show.
I'm not Job.
Except in Matt's case, the devil won the bet. You see Matt throughout the season tormented by the devil. His powers are weakened, he loses his friends, his father figure lies about his mother and is then murdered, his identity is stolen, and Kingpin regains control of his empire. So why would God allow Matt to suffer then? Why would God let the devil win and take Matt? Or did he? What Matthew also failed to mention is that it wasn't easy for Job to go through the suffering. He lamented it, he despised it. And yes, God's perfect servant even questioned why he must go through this. But inevitably, Job learned something, and God restored his blessings tenfold. And in the show, we see glimpses of God working in the shadows to fight the devil. But the devil wants to prove that even the most loyal can fall, so he won't let God win. The devil wants Matt to succumb to suffering and break his killing code. So after so many tests, the devil has one last one to push Matt to the point of no return. He must face himself. Which is when we're introduced to Dex, Matt's foil, who dons the Daredevil suit and highlights Matt's worst qualities, revealing the true nature of Daredevil. Dex is the embodiment of Matt without faith. He kills whoever he has to for his mission, feels no remorse, and constantly lives in fear of the devil. Kingpin, in this case, serves as the devil for the show, and manipulating Dex into becoming his pawn. And in the finale, Matt's forced to make the ultimate choice: faith or fear. In the fight between Matt and Fisk, Kingpin wants Matt to kill him. The devil wants Matt to kill him.
You want me to kill you? Come on! Kill me!
And if he does, there's no coming back. He'll succumb to evil and truly be lost from God. But there's a third party in this fight. Matt is not just fighting Fisk, he's also fighting Daredevil. He's figuratively fighting himself. And if you're paying attention, you'll see Daredevil is trying to kill Fisk. It seems like no matter what, someone is going to die, and evil will prosper. Time is running out, and if Matt wants to redeem himself, he has to confront himself before facing the real demon in the room. Dex constantly fails his attacks on Fisk thanks to Matt, which leads to his ultimate demise by the hands of Kingpin. And only then, Matt is left vulnerable and alone to talk to the devil. Everything was leading up to this point. Everything was a trial for Matt to see if he would truly curse God. All the suffering, all the tears, and all the blood was set in motion by the devil to break Matt, to push him over the edge and get him to kill. All the pent-up hatred is still within Matt. All the fear is still in him. Will God lose his faithful servant forever?
Come on! Kill me! No! God knows I want you, but you don't get to destroy who I am. You will go back to prison, and you will live the rest of your miserable life in a cage, knowing you'll never have Vanessa. That this city rejected you. It beat you. I beat you.
The devil didn't win the bet with God. He lost, just like he did with Job. Matt and his priest talked earlier about why God would put the devil in him. Why would God even allow the devil to exist? This was his thinking.
Maybe that was God's plan all along. Why he created him, allowed him to fall from grace, to become a symbol to be feared, warning to us all, to tread the path of the righteous.
Matt no longer dons on the Daredevil suit after this point. It isn't what it stood for anymore. The true nature of Daredevil had become distorted, now being a symbol of fear and a warning to those who do not tread the path of righteousness. Matt instead wears a simple, humble outfit, working in the shadows to stop evil, and learning one final lesson from his priest.
For me personally, he spent many years trying to get me to face my own fears and see the possibilities of being a man without fear.
Matt was also blessed tenfold for his faith. He mended his relationships with his best friends, his mother, with himself, and with God. At the end, we see him truly happy, surrounded by loved ones, and starting a new successful business. But what was the point of it all? Why did God allow Matthew to be put through such suffering? Well, just like Job, Matt learned that everything happens for a reason, and because of that, you must have faith in God no matter how hard life seems. The righteous will sometimes suffer, and faith will be tested, but those who keep their faith will reap the rewards. Just like blacksmithing, to make the steel stronger, it must be cast into the fire and hammered down. And Matthew Murdock had become sharpened through his struggle with God, regaining his sight and his father. So now that the rebooted Daredevil Born Again series is supposed to be taking place in the MCU, my worry is that Marvel will neglect this very crucial story element that humanized Matt. They'll look past his faith and see a surface level story, not realizing that his journey with God is what makes him Matt Murdock. Cross your fingers and hope for once that they'll do justice to this character. Who knows what their plan is? If anyone knows, it's not you or me. But I think Matt Murdock knows the guy.
God's plan is like a beautiful tapestry. And the tragedy of being human is that we only get to see it from the back. We only get a hint at the true beauty that would be revealed if we could see the whole pattern on the other side, as God does.